everyone, and welcome to another week with Dala Creative TV. Last week I did a dirty flip cup pour and I enjoyed it so much that I just had to give it another go. Even though I rely on intuition in my mixed media paintings, I still have control over the end result. I must admit that I'm not too keen on the unpredictable results of acrylic pours, no matter how beautiful it is. Personally, I like to have an idea what my creation will look like. This week, I am going to try to control my pour on my canvas to create abstract poppy flowers. I have seen many artists use the bottom of a 2-liter plastic bottle, but I want to try and do something different. Because this is a teaching video, I am not going to aim for perfection, but rather see the effects we will get from these two different bottle bottoms. I have already mixed my paint with the pouring medium and with the water to get the consistency of warm honey. Now I also planned my color palette for this video. A neat trick if you are unsure about different color combinations is to just Google or Pinterest color combinations and you will get the most beautiful suggestions. Here I have an iced tea bottle with smaller grooves than a normal 2-liter bottle. I also have a 500 milliliter soda bottle and I'm going to pour over both of these to see the different effects they each render. But before I pour, I am just going to make absolutely sure that the consistency of the paint is right. I have some water in a bottle next to me and I will dilute it if I am unsure about the thickness of the paint. In last week's pour, some of my paints were still too thick and my blue was too thin, so I want to make sure that I get it right this time. Mixing your paints to the right consistency is very time consuming, but it is absolutely vital that the consistency is correct before you pour, especially if you are going to use silicone oil to form cells. To get the blue paint to the right consistency, I had to add a lot of water, but I can feel that there is too little pouring medium, so I'm just going to add a bit to make sure that I have enough acrylic pour medium in my paint. This is only my 4th pour, but I can already get a feeling of what the paint consistency must be in order to get it right. There's that old saying that practice makes perfect, and it's exactly what I'm doing. Because I am going to try and paint an abstract poppy flower, I'm only going to put the silicone oil in 2 or 3 of my colors. With my abstract painting, I really don't need to use the silicone oil, but I am rather curious to see how the silicone will react with the paint consistencies I have today. Remember to not stir the silicone oil into the paint because you will break up the cells. Just move your mixing stick once or twice in the cup. I am going to start pouring the dark blue paint. I can almost immediately see that the iced tea bottle bottom is not going to work as well as the smaller one I have. I think the grooves are just too narrow, or perhaps I'm just a little too impatient to wait for the paint to flow off. I can see that on the bigger bottle bottom, the paint flows towards the middle, but I'm going to continue and let's hope that the end result is good. I am going to continue alternating the colors until I have enough paint on my canvas to move it around and to cover the whole surface. You can see that the smaller bottle works much better than the one with the finer grooves. I have more control over the paint pour and it looks so pretty. It reminds me of the designs of the 70s. I must admit that I'm not too happy about the result of the bigger bottle bottom, but I'm going to continue pouring and see what the result looks like. We will never know unless we try. I'm going to remove the bottles now with a tweezer, and then I'm going to tilt my canvas around to see if I can create an abstract poppy flower. I am not too keen on the bigger bottle pour, but I'm going to see what happens when I move the canvas around. And if I don't like it, I am just going to let most of it run off the sides. Now this is the messy part, but for me, it is also the part that I enjoy the most, especially because I am going to try and control this flow of the paint. I want the red to turn into a poppy flower, even if it is an abstract one. On the side here, I am going to try the swipe technique, where you take a piece of light cloth and swipe it over the paint to form more cells. Although it's forming cells, I don't really like the way the paint has mixed, and I'm going to see if I can fix this. I must admit that I'm not a fan of the swipe technique, but I think it turned out pretty awesome. I can see my poppy flower and I'm very happy with the result of this controlled pour. I am definitely going to make a few more videos with the Dala acrylic pouring medium to try out different techniques. I like to explore and experiment with new mediums. And this abstract art form really shifts my boundaries in my creative thinking. I would really like it if you would subscribe to the Dala Creative TV channel and join me every week as I try out new Dala mediums. I hope you had as much fun as I did in today's lesson, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye for now.